Recruitment process was sped up with these COVID vaccine trials, thanks in part so much to media and social media attention that they received leading up to it. For example, Velocity says they also recruited 30,000 adults for another trial in 4 to 6 weeks' time, and what would normally have taken 6 to 12 months. And the emergency use authorization takes about 6 to 8 months out of the process as well of getting vaccines into arms. Well, a school district in Cass County, meanwhile, is going virtual tomorrow.
It is a precaution with how hot it's supposed to be and because the kids are still wearing masks there. We're talking about Edwardsburg Public Schools, who say that many of their buildings don't have air conditioning. The public schools heat index preparedness plan says that face-to-face instruction cannot happen when temperatures do not exceed 85 degrees, but Tuesday's temperatures are expected to reach 86 degrees. Officials say that plan was created last August in response to concerns posed by staff and families about high temperatures in the schools combined with the mask mandate. Tonight we are going in depth, hearing from a local pediatrician on the issue of heat exhaustion and concerns about face coverings. He says at the moment it still boils down to prevention.
That there's been shown to be any greater health risk of breathing with a mask on, or in fact, any health risk with breathing with a mask on. Having a mask on doesn't decrease your oxygen content, it doesn't increase your carbon dioxide, and it doesn't make you warmer or colder. It just keeps the virus from getting from you to somebody else or from somebody else to you.
Dr. McGee, they're also stressing the importance of wearing sunscreen and staying hydrated when those temperatures start to climb.
Yeah, wear sunscreen, otherwise you will have a big white patch right here. Anthony Dowell outside in this seat as well with the mask on. But of course, you can take the mask off outside everywhere you go at this point.
Yeah, and you're going to want to, because we're going to be feeling like 90 degrees tomorrow with a little humidity added in as well, Derek. Got to 85 in GR today. Yeah, going to call for 86 tomorrow. But, you know, the folks already got higher than 86 today along I-94 and southward. There were a number of locations hitting 88, as you'll see with the chart in just a moment. Partly cloudy. What is making up this partly cloudy sky is basically these high-level clouds drifting overhead, and a dew point of 64. So that dew point, which is a measure of the amount of water vapor in the atmosphere, typically when you're at 60 degrees with the dew point, you can feel humidity. Once you get to 65, it's like going up another notch, and then going up to 70 with the dew point is like taking it up a few more notches, because typically that's the oppressive level, but you can feel it. And we've been going up and down, bobbing up and down with those dew points today. Southeast winds around 7 miles per hour. These were the highs, though. And what I was just mentioning to you was the further south you went, you ran into some of these 88s and 86s. Much of the same for tomorrow. It's virtually the same atmosphere for tomorrow. It's not a whole lot warmer, but perhaps can tack on a degree or two in spots. This from Dave Kuipers coming in just a few moments ago as the sun was dipping below the trees on the horizon in Bass Lake, at Bass Lake in Gowan. So thanks to him for that. Also, Mindy Lou throwing this into my Facebook page, thanks to her, from just several hours behind us with this sun halo that she picked up on. That was pretty nice in the city of Allegan. Also from out in Jenison, Bo Swanson, often putting in these photographs for us. Looks kind of space-like, I don't even know, Martian-like with this photograph. So thanks to him as well. Temperatures, though, right now have dipped into the lower 70s. In Grand Rapids, mid-70s still hanging on I-94 corridor over to the lakeshore. And how about these dew points in the lower to mid-60s? So, you know, we haven't had a real humid time of it this spring overall, but when we've gotten it, you can feel it. Temps across the country, yes, still looking pretty warm. The winds out of the south and southeast, not very strong, though. I mean, that's what's making it feel a little bit more humid, is that we don't have any air motion. Temps dipping into the mid to upper 60s tonight. No rainfall on the charts right now, but it will change later tomorrow. We've got a cold front out to the west, going to be bringing in some rain, and could be a little dosage of it later tomorrow night. Derek and Janice, I've got you full forecast in just a few minutes. A cool spell as well upcoming, and that's in a bit.
Well, time and time again, we've seen the difference that sports can make.
Yeah, especially true this spring at Caledonia High School, where a freshman with cerebral palsy making an impact for the softball team. Our Zach Herrig brings us that story tonight.
Meet Dakota Tomac, a Caledonia High School freshman and one of the biggest sports fans you'll find.
I have loved it from my whole life.
From an early age, he loved sports, loved watching them. He didn't want to watch cartoons, he wanted to watch sports.
Dakota was diagnosed with cerebral palsy at the age of 1.
It hurts to my disability. Who is up there?
Who's up there?
Yeah.
Caledonia head softball coach Kaylee Schertzing is one of Dakota's teachers at the high school and quickly found out his love for sports.
When he found out I played at Grand Valley, he was looking up my batting average and, reading it off to me, quizzing me on my stats that I have no clue.
That's when Schertzing invited Dakota to help her team out this spring as the scorekeeper for every game.
He was so excited to be a part of the team. The girls just brought him in.
Now, at the end of the Caledonia dugout, you'll find Dakota here, sitting on a bucket, registering every pitch on his iPad, keeping all of the game stats pitch by pitch, and also offering some encouragement. And Dakota is truly making a difference for the program, one pitch at a time.
If they've played a team before, he'll pull up and say, hey, their third batter always hits to right field. So it's so helpful for the team to have all of that information.
He isn't only a regular at the softball field either, but pretty much any Caledonia sporting event, helping out in whatever way he can.
When I watch game, I see it from a different aspect because I know all of the inside.
He certainly wishes he could be on the field himself and playing these sports, but being on the sidelines and making a difference is the next best thing.
It's awesome that he's found his niche and he's able to contribute to our team and a lot of teams at Caledonia in the way that he does.
Perhaps the best part is opportunities like this have now led to Dakota wanting even more.
My dream is to become a coach someday in the pros. This is a great learning opportunity.
Reporting from Caledonia, Zach Herrick, Fox 17 News.
Gotta love the sports indeed, doing a great job.
Yeah.
Well, still ahead tonight here at 10 o'clock, a photo that has caused quite a lot of controversy with the state's governor lately.
It was an honest mistake, and I have apologized for it.
And with Governor Whitmer saying after being photographed violating her own COVID restrictions and the changes Republicans are now asking for when it comes to other businesses.
Some call it racist and offensive. Others call it a part of history. Tonight, a committee is presenting its thoughts on what should happen next with the Civil War statue in Allendale.
It's like, how can you even try to enforce that, I guess?
Yeah, Michigan law that's been on the books for decades, but one you've probably never heard of, living together without being married, actually illegal. But one state rep is doing to try and change that. First Lady Joe Biden making a visit to Grand Rapids this week on Thursday, where she plans to highlight the partnerships between federal retail pharmacy partners and community colleges during her visit to vaccination clinics at Grand Rapids Community College. She'll then head to Kansas City, Missouri for another stop on that day. Her visit, of course, coming just a week after President Biden made a visit to our state at the Ford Assembly Plant in Dearborn. The Whitmer administration rescinding that 6-to-a-table restriction that she was photographed breaking over the weekend, leading to a firestorm on social media.
But Republicans say it's not happening soon enough, as our Aaron Parsegian reports.
It's now a restaurant, and they have pretty good pizza.
Governor Gretchen Whitmer leaving a good review of Landshark Bar and Grill's pizza, a day after she apologized for violating COVID restrictions there.
It was an honest mistake, and I have apologized for it.
This photo going viral Sunday, showing her and 12 friends seated around pushed-together tables inside the East Lansing establishment. The party clearly in violation of a state health order that limits tables in restaurants to 6 people. Other groups must be 6 feet away.
I thought her apology today was hollow.
Republicans, like Michigan Freedom Fund Executive Director Tori Sachs, are calling on the governor to do more than apologize and pay back fines the state's levied on businesses for not following COVID orders. According to records, more than 280 businesses have been cited or fined by the state. Whitmer saying Monday the state only went after those who put people at risk.
We have specifically not gone forward and penalized businesses that are trying to do the right thing. It's those that have flouted and put people's safety at risk that, are the most concerning.
I think until she rescinds all of the violations that the state has executed against individuals, against businesses, that her apology is hollow, and she needs to end all the restrictions immediately.
On Monday, the state health department also released their latest order, which rescinds the very restriction the governor broke over the weekend. Whitmer says that plan was in place before she broke the rule. Sachs is questioning why restaurants have to wait until next week.
I mean, look, Governor Whitmer did it safely last weekend at the bar. She had 13 people. I have a friend who tried to take her family of 7 to Bob Evans and was told they had to sit at 2 different tables last week. The rules for the ruling class who are making these ridiculous restrictions that are not based in science need to end immediately.
In Grand Rapids, Aaron Parsegian, Fox 17 News.
The Associated Press is reporting that Landshark Bar and Grill will not be fined for that violation.
Former Lieutenant Governor and gubernatorial candidate Brian Calley has been tapped to lead the Small Business Administration of Michigan. The board of directors appointed Calley to serve as president and CEO effective January 1st of next year. Calley joined the organization back in 2019 after serving as lieutenant governor under Governor Snyder. Says he looks forward to continuing his work at SBAM, which currently serves more than 28,000 members in all 83 counties in our state. Calley will replace Rob Fowler, who's served as president and CEO since 2003.
It's up for drivers. A section of M6 will now stay closed until Thursday instead of tomorrow after a deadly crash there this weekend. MDOT is keeping the part of M6 at Wilson Avenue closed to make sure that bridge over Rush Creek is still safe. It comes after the drivers of a semi-truck and a car died yesterday in this fiery crash that had crew on the scene there for hours. So far, those victims have not been identified. Meanwhile, M6 westbound between Kennewa and 8th Avenues in Byron Center is closed until at least 9 a.m. tomorrow, so MDOT can check things out there.
Still has a statue that's been at the center of debate in Allendale for years now.
A look at the recommendations being made when it comes to the Civil War statue that features a Confederate soldier and a slave child.
Janice, a good Monday evening. I am tracking our next round of rainfall, and you'll want to focus late tomorrow evening and through the drive time to work on Wednesday. Looks like we will get wet. How much am I anticipating? That's what we want to know because we haven't had a whole lot lately. Forecast in a few.
He wanted this meeting to be private in order to have a real conversation and preserve that with the family. He has a genuine relationship with them.
Tomorrow, President Biden will host George Floyd's family at the White House on the one-year anniversary of his death. Biden first met with them back in June 2020 when he traveled to Houston to offer condolences ahead of Floyd's funeral after, of course, Floyd was killed by police in Minnesota. The latest visit coming as lawmakers are likely to miss the president's initial May 25th deadline to pass a bipartisan police reform bill. A committee in Allendale is recommending the township remove a controversial Civil War statue and replace it with one of 3 Union soldiers, each inspired by diverse veterans from West Michigan.
Fox 17's Marisa Oberle joining us live in the newsroom with those details tonight. Marisa.
Derek and Janice, despite that recommendation, the Township Board did not vote on the statue's future. Trustees saying they want to consider what the committee presented to them before making a final decision.
Nearly a year after its formation, the Allendale Garden of Honor Memorial Committee presented its final recommendations to the Township's Board of Trustees on Monday.
We want the Allendale community to know that you are represented very well by this committee, that you are heard, and that each of your perspectives are very highly valued by this committee.
Tasked with developing suggestions for a controversial Civil War statue after community members and activist groups began protesting it last summer, saying its depiction of a Confederate and Union soldier standing side by side with a slave child at their feet is racist and offensive. The group proposed removing the statue in question and replacing it with one of 3 Union soldiers, each inspired by diverse veterans from West Michigan.
We chose these Civil War regiments and individuals first and foremost to advocate for more diversity in the Garden of Honor. We recognize that the mission of the Garden of Honor is to honor the sacrifice and service of all veterans. This includes veterans of color and of ethnic minorities. As the other statues in the Garden of Honor are inspired by Allendale or West Michigan residents, so are these statues.
Also recommended expanding the garden so service members representing the War of 1812, Mexican-American War, and the Global War on Terror could be included, with adding QR codes that link to more information on each statue, another idea put out.
We need to put this behind us and get back to being a community and that isn't divided.
The committee pitching to trustees this could help the community move forward. People in attendance cautious but generally optimistic.
I now hope that the board members take their input seriously.
This is the moment you have to have a chance to right at least one wrong in this community and begin giving the BIPOC community that live here a voice. The choice is yours.
And the Board of Trustees is expected to vote on the statute's future at their next meeting, which is in mid-June. They could approve the recommendation as is, modify it, or reject it altogether. If it does pass, though, the committee says it's not sure how long it would take to complete the goals it laid out, since that would need additional input and financial resources, or what would be done with the statute in the meantime. I'm reporting live in the newsroom. Marisa Oberly, Fox 17 News.
All right, Marisa, thank you. Still ahead, it's a body of water that's beautiful, but also can be deadly.
The one tool that you cannot purchase is time.
Yeah, the push to add lifeguards in South Haven and some of the alternatives being discussed to protect swimmers.
Derek, you know the old cliche about Michigan, wait a minute or whatever it is, and then the weather will change? Well, it's actually applicable. I mean, from last week when I was standing up here, all these boxes were red. We were way up here. Now look at this, a high of 57 Friday. Explain that one, right? Yeah, we're going to do that after the break.
Well, with Memorial Day weekend ahead, beaches along Lake Michigan will be quite busy. One nonprofit pushing extra hard to keep people safe by ensuring they're aware of the lake conditions.
It comes after drownings passed a record last year. Lauren Coomer has more now from South Haven, where they're talking about how to prevent them.
Last year was the deadliest on Lake Michigan since 2010, with over 50 drownings. That's according to the Great Lakes Surf Rescue Project, who says 3 of those fatal drownings happened right here on South Haven's beaches. But they say if lifeguards would have been present, most of those could have been prevented.
In 2020, there were 109 Great Lakes drownings. 56 of those happened in Lake Michigan, and that is the record of the deadliest year on Lake Michigan since we began tracking in 2010.
3 of those fatal drownings happening in South Haven, with 23 additional rescues. The Great Lakes Surf Rescue Project Executive Director saying those could have been prevented if lifeguards were present.
We need to understand that lifeguards are the first responders on the beach. They have their eyes on the water. They are ready to go at a moment's notice if someone is struggling in the water.
Currently in the city, South Haven Area Emergency Services responds to calls for rescues and recoveries at the beaches. While Benjamin says they do an excellent job with the tools they have, there's one thing that's missing.
The one tool that you cannot purchase is time.
Even with Shay's response time of 3 to 4 minutes, for a drowning victim, it only takes about 1 minute for full submersion. Last Thursday, the South Haven Beach Safety Committee voting 5-2 against passing a recommendation to City Council to add a lifeguard program. Instead, the majority voting to improve a current beach monitoring program and enhance tools already in place regarding lake conditions.
I think there's a multifaceted approach here. I think what the whole Beach Safety Committee was trying to do is look and see what resources what we can bring to bear and what we can actually reasonably rely upon. To kind of add the extra layer of safety.
That includes colored flags that are changed based on beach conditions, a QR code to check current water conditions, and a text messaging subscription service to notify people when the colors of flags change.
For many of us who've grown up next to the beach, next to Lake Michigan, we just know that it's an inherently dangerous place to be. So what we're trying to do is let our guests and people who want to visit here just know that there's dangerous conditions there, whether it's a green, yellow, or red flag out there.
It would be absolutely better to have full-time lifeguards. We need to understand that the flag system is a tool for lifeguards to use. It's not a replacement.
If you are planning on heading out to Lake Michigan's beaches for Memorial Day weekend, make sure you're checking the flag colors for beach conditions to ensure your safety. Reporting in South Haven, Lauren Coomer, Fox 17 News.
And going in depth now, some reminders to keep yourself safe if you end up in a dangerous situation out on the water. If you are caught in a rip current, stay calm and don't fight against it. Instead, swim parallel to the shore until you're out of that current. Then turn and swim toward shore. Alternately, you could float or tread water until you're free of the rip current and then head to shore. If you can't make it to shore, draw attention to yourself by waving and calling for help.
And if someone else is caught up in a rip current, stay calm. Of course, seek help immediately. If someone's in trouble in the water, get help at least from a lifeguard. If a lifeguard isn't available, have someone call 911. You can always throw the victim something that floats, like a life jacket, a cooler, or inflatable ball. and yell instructions on how to escape the current. Of course, don't attempt a rescue yourself unless you are a trained beach lifeguard.
Of course, some good reminders, especially heading into the holiday weekend. Anthony's here with the check of the forecast, although hopefully not too many people are going to be in the water because the temperatures are going to be going down, Anthony.
Yeah, I would think so. Janice, water temperatures running in the low to mid to upper 50s depending upon the day. Our actual air temperatures, though, as you're speaking of, that might give you some life to think about getting in the water. They're not going to be spectacular, certainly Friday and Saturday. In fact, as I showed you before the commercial break, there's a realistic expectation here that we are not going to make it to 60 degrees on Friday. How about that? And not easy to do this time of year when the average, I believe by that day, will be 74 degrees in GR. Tower cam shot. And stepping outside, we have had like virtually no air motion. I mean, that's why it feels on the humid side even a little bit more so, because there's nothing blowing around outside virtually. There's some light breezes, but not a whole lot. And these temperatures are running in the low to mid 70s. Kalamazoo at last check still 77. How about that? 76. Battle Creek along the lakeshore even hanging on to mid 70s. Once you get north and eastward of GR, seems to drop back into the upper half of the 60s, though. So where these yellow colors are right now, that's where the orange colors were earlier today. So most locations that are now in the 70s, they were in the 80s and perhaps well into the 80s. By the way, Chicago, O'Hare, and Midway airports today both registered a 90-degree temperature. We had no 90s in our viewing area, but did have some 88s. Kalamazoo, I believe southward to Three Rivers, even over to Benton Harbor. How about that for this first day of our work week? Looking pretty mild across the country. These were the highs from today, and there it is, 90 in Chicago, 88 in St. Louis, 78 only in Detroit. So some additional clouds for them, but tell you what, the real warmth was not far away from Detroit, and it will be making it in there, I can guarantee you, for tomorrow. These southeast winds, which are close to just nothing right now, 7 miles per hour, even on the high side, some locales down at calm. These are the winds, though. I mentioned this yesterday, and I mentioned it on the earlier shows, too, that will be ramped up tomorrow. I mean, considerably versus what we had today. Southwesterly at about 15 to 25 sustained, and gusting to 30 to 35, maybe in 40 miles per hour at times. So to go with the story, the lake story we just had, though I don't think waves are tremendous, they could get as high as 3, 4, 5 feet tomorrow with some of these southwesterly winds coming into the shoreline. And typically, when you got a southwest or a south-southwest wind, it's the northern section, say right along Allegan County northward into Ottawa and Muskegon counties, where the beaches face more towards that southwesterly direction. A southwest wind impacts you more with some of the bigger waves, though they're not going to be big, maybe 3, 4, 5 feet for tomorrow. The upper level pattern, here we are from today going into tomorrow. What we had today is, the same deal tomorrow. So upper 80s again, or mid to upper 80s. And then a little bit of a cooler spell does try to come in for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Not real quickly on Wednesday, so we'll still get into the mid to upper 70s. But once we work towards Thursday and Friday, a noticeable shift towards some cooler weather. Let's put this model in motion. If it wants to go, it seems to be stuck here. Let's get going with it. There it goes. Thursday afternoon. Some of those green colors dropping southward behind the cold front that does arrive later tomorrow night. And then another system with some rain. That'll be the main factor with highs in the upper 50s on Friday, is that there will be some rain passing through, mainly in the morning. The afternoon will hold on to clouds. So upper 50s on Friday. Once we get into Saturday, we'll start to rebound as we go drier, bring back some sunshine, 67, 72, and 75. So not the greatest Memorial Day weekend here in terms of temperatures. It's not like it's going to be a summer weekend beach weather, but it will improve by, I think, Memorial Day with mid 70s at that time. Here's our model overnight tonight. No rainfall at all. Though there is some talk of a shower popping up tomorrow afternoon. I think that is not going to happen if you're hearing about that. But overnight into Wednesday morning, a little round of rain does come through, say between about 11 o'clock tomorrow night and probably 8 or 9 Wednesday morning. Much of Wednesday's dry, much of Thursday's dry. But here's the second system rolling on through. The combined effort, Derek and Janice, of the system tomorrow night and then Thursday night into early Friday could be as much as, say, this from the European model. So may get a total of about an inch of rainfall. We'll see about it. I got more coming up in the 11 o'clock hour. Here's those temperatures. The string of 80s coming to an end tomorrow. Much cooler by Friday.
All right, Anthony, thank you for that. Still to come,